Good morning again.
The floor is entirely yours, Professor Mohamed Segir, and we hope everybody will enjoy this moment. Most of all, brothers and sisters, be fully blessed on this Monday.
Thank you. I hope everybody can listen me and can
Yeah,
see my slide.
yes.
Yeah, as Dr. Wilson mentioned that our today's topic is gender analysis and mainstreaming. I I think it is very much important uh, for the practical life at the family level, at the workplace, and at all levels. I would like to introduce myself. I am Muhammad Savir and I am independent consultant. I have got two master degrees, one in commerce and the other in political science. I am working in the development sector since 1984. From 1984 to 2008, I worked with uh, different international organizations such as USAID, United Nations World Food Programme, Catholic Relief Services, and UNDP. And major assignment I performed were related to project design and management, monitoring and evaluation, and training of staff at different levels. And I'm working as an independent consultant since 2008, and I have rendered different types of services, uh, such as I'm taking online classes for the student of AIU for the last 1 year, and I have carried out monitoring and evaluations for national and international organizations, and carried out participatory appraisals with the participation of counterpart and with the community, and qualitative and quantitative research. I've been working with the community uh, at the in the rural areas for the emergency as well as related to the implementation of development projects. As an independent consultant, I also led a team for creating a disaster risk management plan and a standard operating procedures for emergency response. And I have been conducting trainings in different areas. And before conducting trainings, I have carried out training need assessments and then accordingly developed training material and presentations. The major topics, those I have covered, are related to business planning, report writing, training of trainers, financial management, gender, project management, disaster risk management, monitoring and evaluation. And now I'll come to the objectives of for today's class. The objective of this class is to enhance academic knowledge and skills of students about key terms of gender, gender analysis, and gender mainstreaming. In fact, before going into the detail of gender analysis and gender mainstreaming, I think we need to be clear on different terms and concepts related to gender. So I'll be covering defining the concept of gender, gender analysis, gender mainstreaming, intersectionality, and what are the differences between gender and sex, gender equality, importance of gender equality, gender equity. So these are all related to gender, and then we can relate all these terms to gender analysis and gender mainstreaming, including importance of gender equity, gender analysis framework, importance of gender analysis, what are the principles of gender mainstreaming and approaches, how can we integrate gender in policy and project cycle, and what are the importance of gender mainstreaming. Of course, there are many challenges in gender mainstreaming, and we will be discussing how to overcome these challenges in gender mainstreaming. And then uh, we will cover difference between gender analysis and gender mainstreaming. So in today's class, we are going to cover all these, and I hope with the participation of viewers, it will be a successful session and learning session for all of us. As far as the class structure is concerned, I'll make the presentation as per the learning objectives of the class. And during the class, I'll ask a few questions from you. And once I ask the question, please write your answer in comment in chat. And then I'll talk about key takeaways. Once the presentation is completed, there will be open question answer session that will provide you an opportunity to ask any question if you have related to this topic, and the closing remarks. This is just for your information that there will be one more class on this topic, and we have not scheduled yet, but there will be another class on this topic so that we can cover all the aspects of gender. And as far as this presentation is concerned, the PowerPoint presentation, this will be updated on the AIU website, and then you will be having access to this PowerPoint presentation. As far as the key terms related to gender, gender analysis, and gender mainstreamings are concerned, we will be talking about role, behavior, expressions, biological, physiological, human rights, culture, masculine, feminine, fairness, justice, opportunities, rights, status, inequality, stereotype, decision making, control, gender mainstreaming, intersectionality, access, gender analysis, resources. All these terms will be covered today in this class. Now coming to the definition of gender. In fact, gender refers to the socially constructed roles, behaviors, expression, and identities of girls, women, boys, and men, and gender diverse people. Well, once you see this definition, you see these are socially constructed. We construct this, the society constructed. If you take the example of your family, then you start learning these from your family, then in the society, and at the different levels. So we construct these roles, that who will do what will be the role of men and what will be the role of women. This is what we decide. Whereas sex refers to the biological and physiological characteristics that define men and women. So it means gender and sex are two different. And what is the difference between sex and gender? In fact, sex, as you know, it is a biological and physiological differences, women and men, whereas gender, it is socially constructed roles. As I said, who will do what? Men, what will be the role of men and what will be the role of women? Same is the case for boys and girls. And sex is unchanging, known, and it is known at birth, whereas gender can be changed over time. For instance, the role of man, for instance, he is the person who is supposed to be get education and get preferences in decision making, but women is not supposed to do so in some of the cultures. So these are the roles, those have been defined. But over a period of time, as far as once the awareness comes in, these roles can be changed over a period of time. And same, sex is universal for all human beings, equal human rights. And gender, it is based on social, political, and economic role, may vary much among different cultures and contexts. You see, from area to area, from geographical area, even in one country, if the geographical area change, you can see the different role of men and women. People often use terms sex and gender interchangeably. Excuse me. But this is incorrect because sex refers to biological physical differences, whereas gender is, as we discussed, it is socially constructed roles, and we define it and we decide about it. And we are the ones who can decide vice versa. So those roles can be changed. As I said, the concept of gender is different in each country, region, age group, ethnic group, social origin, or there are other factors related to it. And now we come to the gender analysis. In fact, gender analysis refers to the systematic methods used to understand the difference among women, men, girls, and boys in terms of their relative distribution of resources, opportunities, constraint, and power in the given context. You see, if you take one example of decision making, at the family level, may it be at the society level, at the community level, in area to area, it is different, but mostly uh, in rural areas, I would say, where there is no awareness about it, mostly the decisions are in the hand of men. The men make the decisions. And same is the case as far as the resources is concerned. The man has the power to hold the resources. But over a period of time, as far as the awareness is there, these are changeable and these should be and must be changed so that men, women, boys, and girls can get equal opportunities for living a healthy life. And when we talk about gender analysis, what are the key questions that comes in our mind? Broadly, these are access to resources. Who has the access to resources? Is it men or women? And if at all, it is entirely up to the decision of a man or women to spend the earnings, how to spend, for what to spend. These are related to control over resources and the decision making. Major decisions made be political decisions, made be at family level, at the society level. Who is going to make these decisions? So the gender analysis, once we framework have a framework for that, and we do an gender analysis, we have uh, basic questions that helps us to get a clear picture of gender in the given area and in a given time. Gender analysis: who does what with what resources? Who has access to resources, benefit, just I'm summing it up, and opportunities? Who controls resources, benefits, and opportunities? Now we talk about gender analysis framework. Gender analysis framework is a structured approach used to systematically examining differences in roles, needs, opportunities, and impacts of policies, programs, or projects on people of different genders. You see, sometimes there are such policies those affect men, women, boys, and girls. For instance, there are uh, more schools for boys in rural areas as compared to girls' schools. This is one of the examples. And as far as the component of gender analysis frameworks are concerned, it is related to access and control over resources, roles and responsibilities, power and decision making, need, needs and interest, legal and institutional frameworks. And importance of gender analysis. Gender analysis, in fact, helps identify gender inequalities. The emphasis is on inequalities and develop strategies to promote gender equality and equity. These are two words, equality and equity. We are going to discuss in detail also, so we know what is equality and what is equity. Uh, Today in this class, we are going to discuss in detail also the equity and equality. That will help you to understand more the concepts. It promotes more equitable and effective solutions. It ensures that development programs and policies benefit both women, men, and also girls and boys. Who makes the policies? There could be the policies at different levels. The policies are at organizational level, at government government level. Uh, so when we have gender analysis completed, then we can understand what are the inequalities, and then we plan accordingly. Gender analysis is crucial in evaluating the impact of policies, program, and projects on men, women, girls, and boys. Without having a gender analysis, we cannot see and we are not able to understand or know what are the inequalities. And without knowing them, without identifying them, we cannot take the corrective measures and we cannot change the policies as per the requirement. It is essential for achieving equality, fairness, and sustainable development. This helps, gender analysis helps us in order to achieve equality, fairness, sustainable development. And now we will talk about integrating gender in policy and project cycle. In fact, it is the process of ensuring that gender perspectives are systematically included in policy formulation. That means from the very start, from the very beginning, once we have the policy, those are there. Project planning, implementation, and evaluating. It involves, first of all, we need to have gender analysis, and then we can go to the next step that is related to gender mainstreaming, inclusive participation, and we need to have a monitoring and evaluation system in order to understand whether the policies related to it or the changes or the recommendations are implemented accordingly and what are the impacts and so on. Those can be adjusted according to the need of men, women, boys, and girls. Gender mainstreaming, it involves integrating a gender perspective in all stages, policies, programs, project to promote gender equality and equity. You see the gender mainstreaming cycle, and it is basically the same, which is, we can say, project management cycle. You identify the problem and then you formulate plan of action, strategic plan, and then implement the plan. You get the resources accordingly, you monitor it, and you evaluate it. But in terms of gender mainstreaming, you need to emphasize whether the needs of all are being addressed at the problem identification level, and then the program is formulated according to that so that everyone can benefit from it, and you implement, and during the course of implementation you monitor and you learn what is working and what is not working, and then you make adjustments accordingly and you evaluate and you know the impact, what are the changes. So in this way you can say gender mainstreaming will work in line with this cycle. And what are the approaches of gender mainstreaming? The approaches of gender mainstreaming include gender analysis, program design. As I said, at the early stage when you design the program or the projects, those should be included in that, and the required resources must be allocated so that program implementation can be smoothly taken? And how do you know that it is being implemented according to the plan? Then you monitor and evaluate it. There are some principles related to gender mainstreaming. The key principles of gender mainstreaming are gender analysis, gender equality and equity, participation and inclusion. You see, this is very much important that you must involve men, women at all level. Once you identify or design or implement or monitor or evaluate a program or a project. So the participation will allow men and women to express and to make joint decisions. So those are not imposed on anyone. Those are joint decisions and everybody can benefit out of them. Empowerment, integration at all levels, accountability and monitoring is must, and capacity building. This is also required at the community level, at the organizational level. If you are working with the counterpart, you need for the staff of your counterpart and transforming the structures. There are some levels, those are related to gender mainstreaming. You can say broadly, these are policies. And at the organizational level, programs and partners. Policy. A gender responsive policy ensures that the needs of all citizens, that emphasis is on all citizens, may it be men, women, boys, and girls, equally addressed. What is organizational level? Human resources, capacity building of staff, internal monitoring and tracking system, and there must be gender focal group and gender mainstreaming positions. As far as the human resource is concerned, you can see and take the example of, for instance, recruitment. If the human resource has the policy that men and women will be given equal opportunities in the organization, then that could be implemented accordingly. If there is no policy in the human resource, then it is not possible. So at the organizational level, all these matters needs to be addressed carefully so that every citizen can benefit. And that applies also at the household level, I would say, at the family level. Program level, resource allocation, the required resources may it be human resource, may it be financial resources, time, material, all the required resources must be effectively and efficiently uh, allocated and used. Review project proposal to ensure gender inclusiveness, at least 2 gender audits for different programs, projects each year in the organization. Develop review gender tools, checklist for program and projects that will help you in order to assess the ongoing activities, and then you can relate to monitoring as well as evaluation. At the partner level, the capacity building will help through trainings and regular discussion with the partners, and then act accordingly. Importance of gender mainstreaming. Gender mainstreaming is important for gender equality and ensures that policies, programs, and services benefit all people equally. The importance includes promoting equality. There is a need to promote equality, enhance social and economic development for all, improving policy effectiveness. In some of the cases, you must have noticed that the policy is there, but it is not being implemented, it is ignored. So the need arises for improving the effectiveness before the results come. You need to have a policy and then implement it, and all the policies must be implemented as they are meant for, so then you can have effectiveness of the policies. Reducing gender gaps, it helps, and it promotes inclusive decision making, ensuring human rights. Everyone has the right to live, to health, to education, uh, to get the right job, and all the human rights could be ensured once we mainstream the gender at all levels. And that will lead you towards the sustainable development. Of course, there are many challenges at different levels. These challenges are related to lack of awareness and understanding about the importance, and resistance to change. This is a very much common factor. You can see when there is a change, you will see the resistance for accepting the change. For example, if a man is making a decisions at the household level and he is asked to involve his wife in order to make decisions, he will say, no, I am the right person and I can make the right decisions. This is, I mean, a very basic example related to it that can be uh, seen at every level, at the organizational level, at the policies level. So mm, politically, you can also see in some of the cases. This is just for the sake of example that any change is not accepted unless convinced, and the human rights or the equality is accepted to all. And once you have inadequate resources, this is one of the challenges. Weak political will, of course, it is there. Limited data and research. And without having enough information and knowledge, you cannot say that you are able to mainstream, because you don't know what is the real problem. You don't have done any research and you don't have any information related to that, and then it is difficult to make changes. Poor accountability and monitoring system, stereotype and discrimination. The stereotypes are very much there in every society and intersectional changes. What can we do for that? How can we overcome these challenges in gender mainstreaming? Uh, there is no hard and fast rule about that, I would say, before going to the details, but you are the best judges and can make the decisions. But here are some tips for that. I would say these are the tips. And then according to the situation, you can uh, use these tips for overcoming the challenges in gender mainstreaming. These are related to plans, set clear goals. You must have a clear goal before you start, and you must define the indicators and performance measures. Integrate gender consideration into budgeting. Resource allocation and budgeting is must uh, for gender mainstreaming. And how can you get that? You need to get support from the leadership and their commitment. And you need to make sure that political and institutional commitment is there. So at the higher up, this must be acknowledged, and this must be, I mean, uh, communicated, and then in that case you can get the support and commitment from the higher ups and from the leaders. Educate for gender sensitive policies at all levels. For that purpose, you can have workshops, seminars, or trainings uh, for the stakeholders, for the community, for your own organization staff. And without community involvement, you cannot do anything. So you give, you must give importance, and you must involve all the communities while making such decisions, while making such program and projects, so that they are the ones who can tell you about their needs, and then they are the ones, those are convinced for the program or project implementation or make social changes at their at the community level. And then you need to address resistance to change, stereotype, and discrimination. This cannot be done in one day or 1 month. That takes time and needs regular interaction and regular motivational factors so that you can address all of these stereotypes and discrimination. And how do you know that you are achieving and you are making progress? In that case, you need to have established monitoring and evaluation and reporting system that will let you know the directions you are leading to. Are you making progress? It's good. Are you living in the right direction? It's good. But if you are not, then you need to identify what are the problems so that you can address those problems in order to implement the program or project as per planned, and you can have the impact of the project and you can see the changes. Now I have a question over here from you. It says gender mainstreaming is a process, not a one-time action. Is it true or false?
Ladies and gentlemen, that is an invitation from our presenter, Professor Sagir, asking you to respond to this prompt. Gender mainstreaming is a process, not a one-time action, true or false? most of what we are getting so far, Professor Sagir,
Yeah.
is T, true.
Okay, that's great. Let's see. It's true. Yes, yes, gender
Got it, ladies
mainstreaming
and
is a
gentlemen.
process.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The message is going across.
Yes.
Great job. Well done. So we continue. There is a term that is called intersectionality, and this is also related to our today's topic. I thought we must discuss it in today's session. What is intersectionality? It is a concept that describes how the people's identities like race, gender, class, sexuality, disability overlap and create unique experiences of discrimination or privilege. You see, in our daily life, all these terms, those I mentioned over here, somehow or other, they affect. You can have experiences of discrimination or privilege. So it helps to understand that social inequalities cannot be examined in isolation but must be considered together to fully grasp the complexities of people's experiences. So we also need to address this aspect while making the policies or making decisions that how we address the discrimination or give undue privilege to a certain category, class, whatever you may call it. Gender stereotypes. A gender stereotype is a generalized view or preconception about attributes or characteristics that are or ought to be proposed by women and men, or the roles that are or should be performed by men and women. We think that this is a role for women only. And for instance, taking the care at the household level, everything house. And men is a breadwinner and he has to be out. And men should get the boys should get the education, men should get the education and get the employment, not women. So these are gender stereotypes. Those also needs to be addressed so that everyone can get the due human rights for healthy living. Just to repeat, as I said, gender stereotypes for women, we assume that they are the only home keepers, caregivers, providers of unpaid work, work of lesser value, more emotional. And about men, we say they are the breadwinners and they are supposed to be strong, hard labor job they can do, and they are the decision makers. We think that women cannot make the decisions and it should be only the men who can make the decisions, may it be at household level, may it be at the institutional or organizational level. It is men only, whereas this is not true and it is not acceptable at all. and man is independent in all matters. So again, a quick question, so I can have your interaction and active participation. Of course, you are actively listening and attending this class. Thank you very much for that. And the question, is it true or false to say gender mainstreaming is not a goal in itself? It is an approach. It is an approach for promoting gender equality.
That's another prompt for you, brothers and sisters. A call for your participation. Gender mainstreaming is not a goal in itself, but an approach for promoting gender equality. True or false? Please. We have about 10 minutes to go, so please
Okay, okay. I'll try to manage.
just get involved. In the chat box, preferably, please.
Okay, let's see. The answer says A, true.
Yes.
Yes, gender mainstreaming is not an end goal, but rather a strategy used to achieve gender equality.
Yes.
Great. Okay, we continue. As I said, we will be discussing about gender equality and equity. So this picture will help you out quickly to understand what is equality and what is equity. In this picture, you see under equality, there are three boys with different height, the tall one, the middle, and the short one. All of them are having equal back box to stand up and see the playground and a match. You see the little one, the short, cannot see the ground at all, whereas the other two can see. And the tall one can see the entire ground with this stand. This is equality that says you have given a stool or a box to everyone irrespective of the need, because in this one, in the equality, you see the need is the short height boy must get a sort of a higher stool or a box to see the playground. So there is equality, but there is no equity. What is equity? That it is according to the need. What is the need? Does the tall boy need a box? No. When you see the equity, the tall boy doesn't need a box. So you don't give it to the tall boy. What you do is you give two boxes to the short heighted boy. So in this case, no, the tall one doesn't have a box. The middle one has one, and the third one has two boxes. Now the equity is there. As per the need, the boxes have been distributed and they can enjoy. So this is the difference between equality and equity. As far as the meaning equality, equal, one and one. Equity is fairness. What is fair? What is needed? Based on that, you address the needs. So Just sum up, you see, gender equality. Gender equality refers to the state of having the equal rights, status, opportunities, responsibilities in all areas of life for women, men, boys, girls to enjoy full healthy life. It is equal. Whereas in gender equality, gender equality is important for a just, prosperous, peaceful, and sustainable society. It is a fundamental human right that promotes education and development, economic growth, strengthens democracy, enhances social unity, reduces poverty, health, and well being. Gender equity. It aims to improve fairness and justice. What is fair? Gives people what they need to enjoy full, healthy lives. Why it is important? Gender equity ensures that all individuals are treated based on their needs. The emphasis on the needs and circumstances. Gender equality ensures fairness and equal opportunities for all individuals. It is crucial for a just and prosperous society, leading to stronger economic, healthier communities, and reduced gender based violence. Now, briefly, before going to sum up, I'll tell the difference between gender analysis and gender in mainstreaming based on the whole presentation. You see, gender analysis identify gender inequalities, whereas gender mainstreaming ensures gender equality in policies and programs at all levels. Analysis helps to identify, gender mainstreaming helps to ensure gender equality in all policies and programs is there at all level. And the second one, gender analysis is related to data collection and research, whereas gender mainstreaming is related to policy and program implementation. The policies are framed according to that. And gender analysis, it is understanding difference in gender roles and impacts, whereas integrating gender perspective into all areas relates to gender mainstreaming. Gender analysis is studying wage gap between men and women, and gender mainstreaming is implementing workplace policies that promote equal pay. As far as the key takeaways are concerned, they are in today's class with your participation. We talked about that gender is a socially constructed roles. We decide about that. Use of the sex and gender interchangeably is incorrect. We cannot interchangeably use sex and gender. The concept of gender is different in each social origin, region, an ethnicity, or a workplace, you may find the difference in the concept of gender at different levels. And we talked about accountability and monitoring is one of the gender mainstreaming principles that must be there at all levels. And intersectional experiences can be both positive and negative. Once we do gender analysis, we come to know the gender inequalities with the help of gender analysis, and we need to have a framework for that before doing that. Gender mainstreaming ensures gender equality in policies, programs at all levels.